Let's talk about conditional logic. It's a new feature, again, that comes with the agent mode, and it's something that we had a lot of requests for in the past. And I think now that it's finally here, it's probably worth to deep dive into it and try to understand what it's really about. What is conditional logic and what is it for? That's a good question. Conditional logic allows us to choose which step to go to next. So in classic Opal, if you remember, if you have multiple steps that follow the step that is running currently, all of the steps after that step will be automatically run, and all of the routes, all of the wires will be pursued, little arrows. With conditional logic, the agent can choose which ones to pursue and only pick one out of the multiple options that it has. It's a useful feature that has been present in workflow automation tools for a very long time, and we finally gain it here in Opal. But I think a reasonable question is, why do we need conditional logic with wires? Now that we have agents, we can just put conditional logic right into the step. So for example, depending on the time of the day, choose a different way to respond to a problem the user shared below. There's the problem. I have so much work to do. In all cases, your goal is to make the user feel better. So, okay, that's the general instruction. And then here's our conditions. If it's morning, make a motivational poster. If it's daytime, write an inspiring poem. If it's evening or night, write a tough love letter. And you can see the agent is perfectly capable of solving this problem. It'll just look at the current time, and then it will just write you a quick poem, because right now it's daytime when I'm recording this video. And so it is trying to uplift my spirits by writing a poem about how I can do it. Focus your mind. As usual, not the greatest lyrics or poetry, but okay, we'll go with that. So as you can see, you can already do conditional logic inside of the step. But there's many cases where you actually want to do something more than just a quick instruction inside of one agent, and you want to split things out and turn it into multiple steps. And so when you have this need to split the work into multiple steps, then this idea of conditional logic is actually really useful. In this particular example, I really don't like the quality of this poem. I could probably say what kind of poem to write, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, no. Just like if it's daytime, go to a different step, and that step will have the prompt enveloped into it, and I will tweak that prompt to make sure that the poem writing is top notch. Okay? I'm not going to spend prompt tuning here in this little video, but I will try to give you a sense of how this works. And here's what it looks like. I just prepared a little Opal for you here. And as you can see, now we have make poster, make poetry, and I can put now a more complex prompt here. Imagine that I'm like trying to set constraints and trying to decide what type of poetry this is going to be and write a letter. And as you can see, now we have 3 outputs. Currently, the way the classic Opal logic works is that it will just pursue all 3 of them and make all 3 work. We will have all 3 outputs, which is a little bit nonsensical because we already have the same here. So how do we add routing? The way you add conditional logic is you use this new chip, use the @ and type in go-to. Here's your go-to. Make poster. Poetry. Write letter. And so what is happening here is we are modifying the prompt to include this conditional logic chips. And once you have at least 2 of them in place, the agent has choices that it can make. And please, when you write these prompts, make sure you put them right into the language so it makes sense. As you can see, it says, if it's morning, go to, if it's daytime, go to. And so like the agent now has enough to reason about what to do next. And so one other thing that we do need to add is, because it's now a conditional step, it doesn't actually do anything. All it does is transfers out to the next step. And so what we need to do is we need to tell it what to output. So effectively think of it this way. This step, it's like a grant dispatch. Grand Central, if you will. And all it does is like, oh, it's daytime. Okay, make poetry. What do I send to make poetry so the make poetry knows what to do? Oh, I'm going to send the brief statement about the problem the user is having. And so now we have this very straightforward way of describing this conditional logic that now reaches outside of a single step and goes into a multi-step type of flow. So let's see how this works. As you can see now, we have all these different steps, and they show as conditional logic. And now, if I start running, it will look at the option, and you will see that it will choose. As you can see, it chose only one. It's not three of them, it just chose one. And now this one, it goes hard. It's no longer, it's think of it as this is a sub-agent now. Its whole task, its whole universe is to build the right poem. So it's going to really work on it really hard, not just like throw away, build a poem and things like this. So another way to think of this is a way for you to sort of create, oh, look at that, the mountain. Look at this stack. Look, wow, this is eyes on the people, 1 inch at a pace. You're the architect of a very specific kind of fate. Oh my God, this is so much better. Okay, see, my little bet that this would be better worked out, and actually we have now a nice little proof of that. But think of it this way. This allows you to orchestrate sub-agents into a flow in a conditional way. So if you want all of the posters and poetry and letters at the same time, great. Don't put conditional logic. If you want to choose a path, make sure that you use the go to chips, and then only one of the chosen sub-agent, the following agent, will actually work. And don't forget to specify what to send. So it's very important because this is just the Grand Central. All it does is like, I need to send stuff to make poetry. What do I send there? That's important. You need to tell it what to output. A couple of gotchas. The routing chips are more finicky than your typical chips, so you need to always put them into natural language, whether it's English or any other language, so that it makes sense to the agent. The agent will read it and go like, oh, okay, I got it. If it's morning, go to make poster. And the second gotcha is don't put any other wires into the routed chips, because that will mess up the logic at this point, because there's no longer a very clear picture for Opal to know what to route to if there's other inputs coming into the poster. So if you put something like this into this system, that would ruin your day. You will get some output, it will not be what you expected. Make poster will always run, no matter what the choice is. And don't do that. Just don't. All right. Hopefully this makes sense, and good luck. Conditional logic.